first off, you want to make sure that you have the latest version of Photoshop. Make sure that your Photoshop beta is updated. You want to make sure that you have version 25.9, that is the latest version of Photoshop beta. And to do so, all you have to do is go into apps. Then once there, you click on manage updates. And once there, it will show you whatever apps you need to update. For me, I have to update both Photoshop and Photoshop beta. So I'm going to update both right now. I will just click update all, and then you can hit now or later. I always click now, and then let Photoshop do its thing. All right, so that brings us to feature number 1, Adobe Firefly Image 3 model. So all you're gonna do is create a new document in Photoshop. So there is an icon at the bottom of the toolbar. You're gonna click on that icon, and that is going to open up a new window or new box. And that is giving you access to Adobe Firefly Image 3 model. So you're gonna see where it says just content type. You will get to choose from either art or photo. You can also now add in a reference image, which we will get to later on in the tutorial. And you can also choose from different effects. And then on the right hand side, you also have prompt inspiration if you are struggling with your prompt, or maybe what you even want to generate in the first place. You can look and get some inspo and even draw from these as to what you want your photo to generate and look like. So you can also access it from the contextual taskbar by clicking the same icon on the contextual taskbar, and it will also open up the same exact window. All right, so with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and type in my text prompt to generate an image. Now you want to be as descriptive as possible. Anyone who's used Firefly for a while now knows this. If you are not descriptive enough, the AI, you won't give it enough context information to know what to generate. So it's best to be as descriptive as possible, and always make sure that you're spelling every word correctly as well. That also plays a huge part. So for my text prompt, I wrote, create a vivid cyberpunk cityscape at dusk with towering skyscrapers lit by holographic displays, flying vehicles streak through the sky. I know, very futuristic, but that's what we're going with. And I also clicked photo for content type because I didn't really want it artsy. I wanted it very realistic. So I clicked that, and then I'm going to go ahead and click generate and see what happens. And voila, here we are. We have a super futuristic cityscape with flying cars. We also have 3 different variations. As usual, anyone who's used Photoshop beta knows you always get 3 different variations. And so you will see that at the bottom of the contextual taskbar, you're able to toggle between the 3 different variations using these arrows, or on the right hand properties panel, when you scroll down to where it says variations, you can choose from there by clicking on the different images. Those are also another way to access your 3 different variations. So we're going to go ahead and check out some of these and see which one we like the best. Now going back to our contextual taskbar, if we click on this icon right here, we are able to add a reference image, and we're able to choose an image either from our computer or wherever source, and we're able to add a reference image to help it generate an image more closely to what we're looking for. You can even choose from the gallery they have there, I believe. And then the second icon right next to it, you're able to choose different content type. Once again, you can choose from either art or photo, and then you can also play around with different effects. You can choose from selected, popular, movements, themes, techniques, effects, materials, and concepts. So I'm going to go ahead and mess around with this feature right now. So I went ahead and clicked effects, and these are all of the different effects you can choose from to add to your generated image or photo. So I am going to select fisheye and see how that transforms our current photo. And then I'm going to click generate. So this is the result. It looks pretty cool, very fisheye, so it did its job. Let's check out these different variations and see which one we like the best. So now I'm going to go back up to my text prompt and I am going to change flying cars or flying vehicles to flying spaceships to make it much more, I guess, spacey or futuristic. And here we are. Here's our results. So definitely a very modern like Jetsons vibe. So let's move on to our next feature. Next is feature number 2, generate image. So we're going to generate an image using AI. So right off the bat, I have a stock photo of a house and I'm going to add more to the photo by generating an image. So let's go ahead and do that now. So I'm going to make a selection using the lasso tool around a fairly big area because I'm going to then type in gorilla. I want to generate an image of a gorilla in this picture. And then I'm going to click generate. All right, so we got our big King Kong there. And now we're going to check out the different other variations. And I'm going to choose which one I think is the best that will fit this photo. All right, so I'm going to actually generate one more time to see if I can get a little bit more realistic looking gorilla and see how that turns out. Okay, so I think I like this first one a lot, so I'm going to stick with this one from the second set of variations. So now, before we continue, let us move on to feature number 3, generate similar. Okay, so let's say we're pretty happy with our current photo or image that has been currently generated and we like it a lot. However, maybe it could be just a little bit better and we want to find something similar. All we have to do is click on these 3 dots on the right hand corner of the variation, and now we have an option called generate similar. And as before, we still have the rating system. We can choose either good, poor, or to report if it's inappropriate. But let's go ahead and just click generate similar so we can get a few similar samples of the same variation we already like. This new feature is definitely a game changer and probably one of my favorites. Alright, so let's check out some of these new variations from the generated similar. So I'm not gonna lie, they are okay, but I think I'm gonna stick with what I originally had because I think it's better, and that's okay. This is still totally in beta, so it's not always going to be, perfect. They're still testing it out, but AI is still making a ton of advancements and is still coming very far from how they started. So let's continue on to our next feature. So that brings us to feature number 4, enhance detail. This kind of goes without saying what that means. We're basically going to enhance the detail of something. So we are still with our King Kong, our gorilla photo, and we're going to actually enhance the detail of our gorilla that we generated because, as you know, whenever you generate something from generative fill, it's always low resolution. Now, it's not going to make it high resolution, but it is going to enhance the detail to make it look less blurry and a little bit better than before. So that's basically all that means to enhance detail. It's going to literally enhance the details of the image we generated with generative fill. As we zoom in, you're going to notice as you get closer to the image of the gorilla, it looks very blurry compared to the rest of our image that is, very in focus, much more high resolution. Our gorilla is definitely low resolution compared to the house and the surroundings behind him. So in order to fix that, I'm going to show you guys how you can use the new enhanced detail feature. So all you have to do is go to the variation. Instead of the 3 dots, we're going to click on the other icon on the left hand side. And what that means, you're going to see like a little arrow pointing up. That means upscale. So we're basically going to upscale our variation or our photo, and we're going to make it better. It's not going to be high resolution, but we're going to upscale our image and enhance the detail. So as soon as we hit upscale, you're going to notice that a new window pops up that says enhance detail. And then once it's done, you're going to notice immediate changes, how much more enhanced the detail of that image is going to look. It's going to look a lot better. And look at that, a big difference. But that is a lot better than what we started with before. All right, moving on to our 5th feature, we're going to talk about reference image, another one of my favorites. So first off, we have a photo of a woman. It looks like she's working on her laptop. She could be in a work setting, like an office. And then she has her cup of coffee. She's trying to get some work done, be productive, or so forth. So we are going to first try using, we're going to generate an image without using a reference image. Just to show you sometimes how the results can come out when you don't use a reference, and we're going to compare the two, which is better. So I'm going to just add like a little muffin. Maybe she's having a little snack while she's working at the same time. So I'm just going to make a selection in the little area of the desk, and then I'm going to type in muffin in generative fill and then type generate. All right, so right off the bat, the first one kind of looks like some type of weird looking cookie, and the second one looks more like a cupcake, so definitely not a muffin. So the third one does look much more closer to a muffin. It looks, a lot better compared to the first 2 variations. The resolution is very off though, so if I wasn't using reference image, I would definitely use enhanced detail in this aspect to be able to make that look better, because it does look very fuzzy, if you will. So there's actually 2 ways to access it. You can go on the contextual taskbar and you see this little icon with a photo. That is where you can upload a reference image. It will say choose image, and then you can take a photo from your computer and upload it into there and use that as your reference image. Secondly, another way to do it, to do the same exact thing, is go to the properties panel on the right hand side, and underneath the text prompt, there is also the same icon where you can upload a reference image right next to where it says generate. And you can do the same exact thing, click replace image, and change your reference image if you no longer want the current one you already have. So you will notice there is a blue check mark. So that is just showing that you have uploaded your reference image, but we're going to keep our reference image the way it is. Okay, so the results are in, and here are our muffins, and they look amazing, actually. I am quite impressed. So the reference image definitely helped compared to how we started. It didn't look that hot. So this looks very good compared to our original image that was generated. So the reference image, this is proof that it really does make a huge difference. And I do feel like the muffins look pretty realistic. All right, so we are now on feature 6, the adjustment brush. So the adjustment brush definitely has gotten a facelift. It's nothing new per se, however, it has some new added features that have been added to it. So we have our photo opened up in Photoshop. So go ahead and click into the adjustment brush. And then up top, you will notice that some of our adjustment layers are under here when you hit or click into the drop down menu. And there has been a few layers that have been added, such as levels, curves, channel mixer, color lookup, and gradient map. I'm going to choose brightness and contrast, and I'm going to show you guys how you can use that in your photo. So we still have our plus and our minus symbols where you can add and take away. And then you can obviously still use that drop down menu to change the size of the brush as well as the softness. So I'm just going to make sure that the size is fairly large but not too large, and I'm going to use a soft brush, a soft round brush. So now at this point I'm just going to paint over her face to make it brighter, just to show you guys the effect. If need be, you can click on the minus icon that I showed you guys earlier and paint to subtract the effect, or basically to remove the effect that you just added. So basically when you hit the plus sign, you are adding brightness when you are selected the brightness and contrast, and then when you hit the minus or subtract icon, you are removing the brightness. So you will see an adjustment layer with a mask revealing the effects in the areas you painted over. That is all that means. And from the properties panel, you can use the sliders to adjust the brightness and contrast. So using these sliders right here, you can adjust to either increase it or decrease it. You might be wondering, so what really is the point of the adjustment brush tool? So basically it is just another route, or another option to the same destination. So there really hasn't been much of a change per se, or an upgrade, besides a few more adjustment layers added, but it's pretty much the same thing, just another route of getting to the same results. So one other thing I would like to add as far as a tip for those who might be new to Photoshop or the adjustment layers might be foreign to them is that the add and subtract checkboxes are the same as painting with white or black on the layer mask, as we'll see over here, down here. So painting with white adds the effect and painting with black subtracts it. So always keep that in mind. That is a very helpful tool when you are first starting out in Photoshop. Feature number 7, generate background. Also one of my favorites. Well, first you have to remove your current background to do that. So going to the bottom of my contextual taskbar, I just clicked on remove background, and we're going to let it remove the background. So we have two options. We can actually import a background from our computer. So we're not going to mess with that right now, but we're only going to click on generate background. So I can either leave the text prompt blank and just click generate and allow AI to upload whatever it wants to. But in this instance, I actually would like to have some more control than that. So I'm actually going to type in the text prompt what I will like the desired new background to be generated. So now I'm going to type in the text prompt white subway tile, and then I'm going to click generate. So here are our results, and then there's 3 different variations. I'm pretty happy with it. It's pretty spot on as far as subway tile. It's definitely white subway tile, what I asked for. And that's pretty much it for that feature. So last but not least is the 8th feature, which is the font browser. So what if we want to find different fonts to put on our images or our creations? Well, there is a solution for that. All you have to do is click on the T for text, as usual, as you would normally use it to add text to a photo. And then you can go under the font or the font name, and you can select from an array of many different fonts. And there's thousands of fonts on Adobe Fonts. We have a whole plethora of fonts to choose from. So now we have access to all of these Adobe fonts right at our fingertips. Whenever we select one, we are downloading that font to our computer so we can use for future projects. So this is going to be a huge game changer. And you can adjust the placement of it by using the move tool as usual. And you can change the size of your font and mess around with the font however you'd like. And this is also available not only in Photoshop Beta, but also in the regular Photoshop as well. So just a disclaimer out there. So that is it for this tutorial. Thank you guys so much for watching. Do not forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you are not already. Definitely be sure to comment down below if you learned something new. Let me know if you have any questions about any of the new features. And also let me know down in the comments, how do you plan on using these new features? Or do you plan on using these new features at all? Also, be sure to check out my previous video on Photoshop, going on all the other features as well about 5 months ago if you have not already seen that one.